Yo, 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 good morning. Grateful for another maggot-free day above the dirt. Jersey Shore, check it out. And I've shown in a couple of videos this really cool Zen-like rock garden that somebody took the time to create out here. Really cool. So, I've kind of been free thinking the Buddhist stuff, and I covered a lot of Buddhist teaching in a really linear, I don't want to say academic, but an academic way. And I strayed now and then to different topics, but a topic I haven't discussed at all is called Metta, which loosely translated in the West is loving kindness. And let me get a little teaching in. There's Buddhist teaching that's been paraphrased to a really popular statement, and I really like it, regardless of whether the Buddhist said it exactly that way or not. But you could travel the whole world looking for someone to give your love and kindness to, and you'll never find anybody more worthy of it than yourself. And that seems at first glance kind of selfish, right? Kind of self-absorbed, but the reality is we're no good to anyone else unless we take care of ourselves first, right? So there's another, not really a teaching, but kind of a little Buddhist story or saying that says, equates life's difficulties to, being barefoot and walking over, let's say, jagged rocks and sharp edges and things like that. And the teaching says, if you want to walk through this world, you can either try to cover the whole world in shoe leather or just wrap your own feet. And what that means is, and this will tie into the metta practices, most spiritual people immediately are off to save the world. We see it in people that, are really hurting, sick, and suffering, coming to spiritual practice, start to get some wellness benefit, get a little knowledge, and suddenly, they're teachers, or they're off to, their whole life gets consumed with service. And that's not a bad thing. It's just with even spiritual service without the right intention is not a helpful thing. And it can be harmful, very harmful to us. So let's look at the teachings on Metta, which talk about how to actually go through a process of giving love and kindness to others. And it starts with ourself. The first, I'll go through the list. The Metta order is yourself, a benefactor, a friend, a neutral person, a difficult person, and then all beings. And of course, like I already said, most people dive right into all beings. And that is one of the commitments we make, the vows we take in Zen, is to save all beings. And I'm not going to get into that other than, that's really a metaphor for what kind of effort and commitment we need to put into practice. Of course, we can't save all beings, but it reflects our determination. But again, we can't save all beings if we haven't saved ourselves first. And, some people will say that, well, let me backtrack a little. We gravitate to saving all beings because it's actually the easiest. Now, I know I just said It reflects having the utmost of determination to make that commitment, and it reflects, our deepest, strongest perseverance and effort. But it's actually the easiest thing to do because it doesn't involve a journey inward. It involves a journey outward, and we reach out and we get good feeling from service and helping people, and ultimately we can neglect ourselves and bypass the real issues. I'm going to turn to a better view behind me, and bypass the issues we truly need to deal with, right? So, and you would think giving love and kindness to ourselves is easy, but it's actually the hardest part of this practice because we have so many unresolved issues. We carry so much trauma, hurt, anger, resentment. So, this is about finding a way to heal our deepest wounds. And it doesn't, it's a process. Everything is a process, right? So after we start working on that with giving loving kindness to ourselves, we spread out, we expand it a bit to a benefactor. A benefactor is simply someone that has helped us, that has been supportive. It could be a spiritual teacher, a mentor, a great close relationship that has given us some kind of benefit. Now, and be careful with benefit. It doesn't mean someone, that enables us to avoid ourselves or a situation through their generosity or things like that, even though that's a little part of it. So be careful with that. The next is our friends. So these are people that we like, people we enjoy, people that, influence our life in a positive way. Next is neutral people. Neutral people are people that, they can be people that are in our lives on a regular basis, but we're not particularly close and don't have really much of a relationship other than maybe proximity or surface level. And we're kind of neutral. We don't feel the bond that we do with, let's say, a benefactor or friend, but we're not, they're not people we wish to pull away from either or turn away from. After neutral people are difficult people. And difficult people are twofold. One, just sometimes we run into random strangers that are really difficult to deal with. And then we have the people in our lives, whether they are family members, they fall into that friend kind of context, or they're just superficial through proximity, whether work related or activity related, that are just really difficult and get under our skin. And then the next is all beings. So when we look at this list, we can see that we deal with ourselves first, and then as we go through the process and the progression, each level of expansion or each level of evolution is a little bit, dare I say, easier, right? Because it is very difficult to give ourselves, I said what we think is easy turns out to be really hard in regard to giving it to ourselves. But at the same time, as we start, it gets easier and easier till it does become easy, and it's the easiest place or the most solid place to start. So each level and expansion gets a bit easier until we're dealing with the most difficult, and then we take on the huge challenge of all beings, right? Where we, in essence, treat everyone with the same acceptance and the same loving kindness, no matter who they are, no matter where they are in our lives and how they fit in. Okay? So I was hoping to make this short and sweet, but no such luck. So have a great, grateful, maggot-free day above the dirt, and peace out.